All right, hey, and welcome back to another Camel Salt Middle School video tutorial. This second episode of the 6th grade engraved acrylic project is going to discuss what to do with your exported Gravit file once you've successfully exported a PNG, what to do with it next. All right, so here we are in my Gravit file. This is old news at this point. All right, I've got my exported file down here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to minimize this, and you're going to get back to your desktop. Okay, you are now looking to open the laser software. The laser software is called RDWorks V8. It's either going to have this logo, or it's going to have a logo that looks like a black and a red box next to each other. Either way, RDWorks V8 is what you want. Double click to open. Okay, so welcome to RDWorks V8. You're going to notice a bunch of tools all around the screen, a bunch of colors down here. Do not get overwhelmed. This is going to be just fine. Okay. First things first, what you need to recognize is the fact that you are now looking at a canvas. Okay, you had a canvas in Gravit, and now we have another canvas in Boss. And in Boss Laser, we need to match our canvas size to our original canvas size in Gravit. And if you remember, those numbers were 140 and 110. So come with me up here. Get ready to click your mouse. We're going to go to Config, Page Setting. In page setting, one of these needs to be 140 and the other one needs to be 110. Now, depending on how you're orienting your engraving, you do the work that you need to do. So I'm doing mine in landscape mode. So I'm doing 140 wide, 140 10, vice versa if you're doing the opposite. Okay? Don't touch anything else on this page and hit OK. All right, good. Now, couple basics about Gravit, or Boss Laser, rather. Scrolling is going to zoom, all right? No need to press Control like you do in Gravit. Pressing the mouse wheel is going to move it around, okay? And there I am, centered in the page, okay? Now, first thing we need to do is bring our downloaded file from Gravit into this page. Now, if you remember, we downloaded a massive image file out of Gravit, 3 feet wide, right? This right here is about 6 inches wide. So we are expecting our Gravit file to land way out here. And you'll notice this red box, these blue arrows, are the upper right corner of your design. This green box is the lower left corner of your design. So watch what happens. I'm going to come up here, Image Import, click that. Come into your Downloads folder. If this doesn't say Downloads, drop that menu down. Whoops. Find the one that says Downloads. Click. Find your file. Open it. Now, whoa, it's huge. Yes, it is. There's the corner of my Boss Laser canvas. Here's my ginormous picture. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to click a corner and I'm going to shrink this down. I can move it by clicking and dragging. I'm going to zoom in so I can continue working on this. I'm going to zoom this down just a little bit more. Now check this out. With the image selected, I can come up here. These tools right here tell your image to land in a particular spot in your canvas. You got the corners and then you got the center mark. Okay? I'm going to choose the upper left corner. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this bottom right corner until that right edge just about hits the outside of my canvas. Okay? Now I can center this in my canvas. Now I'm ready to start working. Okay, so essentially we just brought in a massive file, shrunk it to fit onto our 140 by 110 canvas, and then centered it on the page. Okay, so you are now ready for the next steps. We are going to do a little reverse engineering on this image of yours. Okay, we need to pull this thing apart. So what you're going to do is you are going to click the image, select it. You're going to know it's selected when it's got the red line around it. And you're going to come up here to this tool called BMP. Now, this BMP is called a bitmap handle or a bitmap tracer. And what it's going to do is it's going to turn all of these lines into what are called vectors. Okay, now just watch what happens. When I click BMP, I come down here and I'm looking at my image right here. Here's the important part though. You need to check this box, set output resolution. Check that. This needs to get turned to 750. Check that box, 750. Next click is Apply to Source. And then Get Outline. Give it a second to work. This might take a few seconds to almost a minute for some of you. Now, what just happened out here, this should look familiar. Now you have a ton of nodes and line segments. It just took your entire design and sliced and diced it into line segments. So this might look kind of familiar to you now. I'm going to hit OK. And what I'm going to do is before I click anywhere else, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I'm going to grab onto this X in the middle and I'm going to drag my newly vectorized design out of my image. Okay? I'm going to click on my original and I'm going to delete it. Okay? So this is what I want to be working with now. Now, let's just for a second zoom in on this. You can notice now that I have control over each of these little areas. And I'm going to tell you why that's really cool in just a second. But before we do anything, we need to get this whole thing over onto the canvas. Now, here's an important part. Say I were to just grab on to, if I were just to like click right there, okay? Grab onto that, drag that over. Do you think I'm going to be dragging the entire image over, or do you think I'm going to be dragging just this? All right, so we want to grab the whole image, which means we need to group it, okay? Recurring thing here, we're going to group things. So draw a big box around your drawing. Grouping tool is right here. Now I can click on it and I can move it over into my design. Or I can just press the centering button. Okay? Now that's right where I want it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I need to ungroup this because I'm going to start picking it apart. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to ungroup this. So now I have access to all of these little pieces again. Okay? So first thing we need to do is we need to establish the fact that this outside line is going to be a cut line. So I'm going to click on that line. See how it just turned red? I'm going to click on that line and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on this red button. And that is going to permanently color this line red and it's going to give it a little line item over here. Now this is our output tab. This is telling the laser what to do. And right now, all I want you to worry about is this line with the red right here. Okay? You're going to double click this red. You're going to make sure a couple things are true. The output should be yes. The speed you're going to change. The speed is going to be 12. Your processing mode is going to be cut. And your power is going to switch to 85 for all of these. Pause this video as many times as you need to get this work done. You should be going back and forth between this video and your work. Okay, so now I have a cut line. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is all of these other lines in here, I want to turn them blue. Okay, so I'm just going to begin, let's begin with the waterfall. I might just be able to like click and drag around all of these. I'm going to turn them blue. So now you're going to see you have 3 lines over here. Again, ignoring this black line. The red line is set to cut. This blue line, do we want to cut the waterfall out? No, we want to engrave the waterfall. So we're going to double click on this. We're going to make sure it's blue. We're going to say output, yes. The speed this time we're changing to 300. And instead of cutting, we're going to scan. I'm going to switch all of these to 15. And I'm going to hit OK. Now my job is to click all of my remaining lines that are still black and turn them blue. I click that one. So basically, here's an easy way of thinking of it. Everything in your design should be blue, except for the outside line, which should be red. So at this point, I've got lots of blue and then red around the profile. This red indicates where the machine is going to cut. The blue indicates what's going to be engraved. And if you come up here to your preview button, we can see what's going to happen. Everything that's opaque is engraved. Everything that is black is crystal clear. And everything that this line right here signifies a cut line. Okay. Now your last step before you're done is going to be to come up here to File. We need to save our work. So we're going to go File to Save As. You're going to drop this menu down to CHMS Tech Ed. You're going to come into 6th grade. You're going to go to your team. And within this team folder, you are going to find a new folder that will be waiting for you called 18/19 acrylic engraving. Okay? And that's where we're going to drop our file off. Your file name should be your first name dot your team name dot what are we going to call this? Let's call it engrave. Okay? And then hit save. Once you've done all that, you are done with this tutorial. Good job.